Hi, in today's video I'm going to be talking about how to create a Volume OSD on Linux without using a desktop environment. So I'm using Xmonad as my window manager and it doesn't have a Volume OSD, so when I press the volume keys I don't get a display on the screen like you would do on the Mac or on Gnome or KDE on Linux. So this is what the on-screen display typically looks like. And if we come across to the Arch Wiki, there is a section on using dunst with a script to create a Volume OSD. And what I'm going to show you is how you can achieve that without having to do any scripting by installing a couple of packages, and you'll be able to completely customize the on-screen display and use your own icons as well. So what I'm going to do is actually come across to Big Buck Bunny here, and what I'm going to do just play it and then show you the on-screen display that I've created, and then go through and show you how you can do it. So I'll play Big Buck Bunny, and if you look at the top right, let me just pause that. If you look at the top right of the screen up here, you'll see the volume display. So I'm moving the media keys up and down, I mute it. And you can see what we have here is we have a icon. If you look at the icon on the left, the big speaker icon, the sound waves come out of it increase as I increase the volume, and you can see that we have both a percentage and a bar here. So we've got a bar, we've got a graphic that changes, and we've got the percentage as well, and you can see it automatically disappears after 2 seconds. And what I'm going to do is actually go through and show you how you can easily create that without any scripting and completely customizable, and customize the color and the icon as well. So again, let me just play that and okay, so you get the picture. So what we're going to do is go through how you actually get this set up. So what we're going to be doing is installing xfce, let me just increase the size of this, xfce4-volumed. And what that is it's a pulse audio multimedia key daemon that basically listens for the key presses on your keyboard for the multimedia keys, and then will basically, raise or lower the volume, mute it, but also provide a desktop notification. What I'm going to do is actually go through the steps of how you set this up, and actually how you grab the default icons and then change them to use your own icons. So the first step is we need to install xfce-volumed-d. So copy that, switch across to the terminal, paste that in, press return and enter your password. So that's step one. Next thing we want to do is install dunst if you don't have it. Dunst is a notification server. That's what creates the actual pop-up notifications. So sudo apt install dunst, copy that, paste that in, press return, enter your password to install it. Now the next thing here is the actual dunst configuration. So what this is this is the config file for the notification server. And what I'm going to do is actually take you through some of the settings. I've covered this in previous videos on stuff I've done with dunst. But the important one here, we've got progress bar set true. What I'm doing right at the bottom, if I switch down to the very bottom of this config file, is what you can actually do is create rules for particular notifications. So what we've got down here is one called volume, and the app name is xfce-volumed daemon, and I'm just setting the timeout there to 2 seconds. So basically what this does is whenever I press the volume notification, it's going to disappear after 2 seconds. So this is how we can create a custom rule for that notification. So the next step that we're actually going to be doing is we need to copy the default icons that are used for this, because what happens is there are actually 4 graphics that are used for this notification. So what we've got is we've got a muted notification, we've got low, medium, and high. So there are actually 4 graphics that are used, and typically what you'll get in icon themes is you'll get stuff like icons that are 16 by 16 or 32 by 32, and these are actually image files, they're PNGs. And the issue with this is the particular graphics we want to customize actually have a white background on them. So what we're going to be doing is copying the SVG versions of graphics and then altering them with Inkscape, resaving them, putting them in a new location, and then telling Dunst to look there for the graphics that we're going to be using. So I'm going to go through the steps of this while I get a bit of tea. So the first step we're going to do is actually we're going to create a file on the desktop called SVG status. And the reason for that is what we're going to be doing is creating a new theme of icons. So copy this across, switch to the terminal. As you can see here, we've got the SVG directory. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy the user share high contrast scalable status audio volume dash wildcard.svg into that directory we just created. So if I just have a let's have a little look at this. So you need the high contrast icon set installed, because in that icon set there are 4 files, these 4: audio-volume-high.svg, audio-volume-low.svg, audio-volume-medium.svg, audio-volume-muted.svg. And those don't seem to be in any of the other icon sets that I've checked. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy those 4 icons, and we're going to open them with Inkscape. So paste that in, SVG status, and you can see here we've got the 4 icons. So what I've actually done is I've already gone through these icons, and what I've done is we'll actually show them here. I don't know if it's okay. There you go, the icon. So what you can see here is the icon with a checkerboard background, which means that it's actually transparent. So what I'm going to do is switch across to Inkscape. So install Inkscape if you don't have it. Inkscape is an application for manipulating SVG files. So what I'm just going to do is actually come across and open the normal ones. So this is the icon set that we've just downloaded. And there's a couple of things we need to do. So you can actually see there is actually a white border around all these, but we can't see them. So what we need to do first of all is come across to the document properties. What you see down here, you see it says checkerboard background. Check that. Okay, we can now close that. And I'm just going to close all these and then open them up again. So what you'll see here is we have the black graphics with a white sort of stroke around them. What we need to do first of all is remove this white stroke, because if I just bring up this again here, so if we had a white stroke, you'd see it against the background color of the notification. So what we need to do is actually come across and move your cursor along here, and you should see something. Yeah, edit objects, color, stroke. Right. I'm going to click this little button here under the arrow, and this allows us to select the points. And what we're going to do is we select this here. If I can remember what the hell I did. There's two things. One, you have to move. One's a background, one's an actual stroke. So if I get this selected, actually remember where the thing was. There's another section where you can actually click the XML. Okay, so the XML. So this is for the A, the view layers. Okay, it's this one here. Third icon from the bottom. So you can select that, and what that's going to do is actually show you the SVG, and you'll be able to come through and edit the properties. So what I'm doing here is got this one selected. You can see here I've got the style. What I'm going to do is just select this stroke width, set that to 0, and click the little arrow, the little check mark. You can see now the stroke has disappeared. So we're going to save as we go along. So what we need to do now is the same thing for these ones. So I'm going to select these, and you should see you've got these selected. So click on these like this, and what you'll see is they'll select different paths down here. Then you select the style, and just basically come across, set it to 0. Oh, wrong one. So 4. So I've buggered that one up. So what did I do? Let me just check this one to see what I did. Width 4. Okay, that's what I did. Okay, so I buggered one up. So it's always the way with demos, isn't it? You're going to make a mistake here and there. I forget where the thing was. That basically what you got to do is go through and yeah, that's it. Stroke 12. Okay, so if I change that to 0, yeah, you can see those ones are gone. So just imagine that I haven't buggered these up. So stroke, is it this one? Okay, so I've accidentally deleted the thing there. So if I can get that back. You set that stroke to 4 again. I don't know what I'm doing here. Just pretend I haven't messed stuff up. I'll do it on another one. Just to show you. Okay. Right, so what I've done is I've gone through and basically removed the white background stroke. So the next step is actually to color these elements. So I just wanted to show you this because to actually get it looking nice and not have the white strokes is one thing, and it's actually difficult to find a set of icons with because this thing basically requires 4 different icons. You could manually create these if you're graphically inclined, but I'm not, so I'm just copying the existing ones and modifying them and showing you the process that I actually went through. So this one here, I think what we had to do was, yeah, what you do, you select these ones. So I'm selecting this, and I'm going to come to the fill and stroke and do fill. See here, you can sort of change it. And again, I've managed to bugger it up. But yeah, if you come across to the fill, you can change this to say, to put that back to black 1, 2, 3, 3. But what we want is an actual a color. So I forget what the color was I used. Let's just say HTML off black, HTML off black, and just get a color value just so I can show you. So we've got black here, we've got like a dim grey, you've got a grey. So let's just put a grey in here. Just put in the hex so you can see I'm changing that there. And again, I think I did it like this. Okay, you can see it's now got a background thing there. I'm not sure what I did there. Okay, we're going to set that to off. I think for these ones, you've actually got to come back to the XML. So what we've got here is we've got this selected. And is there a color, stroke color? Yeah, so if I change the stroke color here, so you can see we've got the stroke, we've got the width, the stroke, and change that. Yeah, there we go. So there's two different things. For this one, you've got to put the fill. For these ones, you've actually got to edit the XML. So select it, select the style. You can see here we've got the actual stroke color. Okay, do the same for this one. Change the stroke color. Okay, save it. So that's one of them. So I'll just go through the process again quickly just to show you. So you can see here, here's low volume, here's the medium, and here's the muted. I'll do the actual muted because it's a different different layout. So first of all, again, what you've got to do is come across document properties, checkerboard background. Once you've done that, what you can do is come here and select these elements. Let me just close that again and open the XML editor again. So XML editor is the third one down here. So, oh yeah, what you need to do first of all, why it's not working, is click the second button here, edit paths by nodes. You can then select these. So we've got this one here selected. You can see the style. For this, you could just change, I'm just going to basically set the stroke width to 0 here. Okay, and that gets rid of that. For these ones, same sort of deal. Just check it's different. Sometimes it requires a bit of faffing about. So 12. Let me just see if that's the right one. Set that to 0. Okay, that's got rid of one of them. And again, go to the next one. 0. Okay, so we've now got rid of all the nasty white background, and remember, save as you go along. So for this one, again, what we need to do is, I think it's the fill. Okay, select the fill and stroke. Then put in a new value there. So let's change that. And then for these ones, you need to switch back to the XML. So here, that should be the stroke. Yep. Come through, select the other one. Stroke there. Okay. So that should give you the idea of how to find the icons that are used. Copy the SVG files, open them up in Inkscape, go through, remove the white stroke and background, and change the color. So that's that step done. Let me just close all of those, switch back. So what I've done is I've already gone through that process and created custom SVG icons without the background for up here, and set the color to a sort of light grey so that we have a sort of nice contrast there between the notification background. So next step, You don't have to do that. I've done the donkey work for you, so you don't have to do that. You can just download the icons. So if you want to have your own custom icons and change the color of those icons, you can go through that process. If you want to be lazy, you can skip that whole step and you can just download these icons. And if you're not familiar with GitHub, what you actually need to do is come across and click these links individually, and then you don't now download it here. What you need to do is come across to where it says raw, and you'll see the icon here. You can then basically, save these audio volume high, just go through, open each one of those, go to raw, then save each one of those. Once you've done that, we're going to move on to the next step. So basically, all you need to do is download those, and what we'll do is just create a directory on your desktop like we did, called SVG status, and put all the graphics in there. What we're now going to do is we're going to move that directory, that SVG directory, into local share icons. And this is a location in your home directory where you can store icon files. Typically the location system-wide is user share icons, but we want to keep everything in our home directory. So we're just basically going to move that directory into user share icons. So we come across here, local share icons, sorry, my bad, local share icons. You can see I've got a couple of icon themes there installed, and there's the SVG directory, SVG status, with the 4 SVG files: audio volume high, low, medium, and mute. So that's what we've got to do. And then what we need to do finally in our dunst configuration is, what we have is a section called icon path. And what we're going to do is we're going to prepend that file path to the start of the icon path here, so that it takes effect before any other icon sets that we've defined. So what I'm going to do is just switch across to, here's my notes. What I'm just going to do is just open up dunst configuration and come across to the icon set section. So what you'll see here is the icon path, and what you need to do is put in the full path. You can't use a tilde. You can't use a tilde to represent your home directory. You actually got to put in the full path here. So you've got home, username, got local share icons, SVG status, and each of these paths are separated by a colon. So if you're copying my configuration file, the one thing that you do need to change for this to work, come across to icon path and simply substitute your username for mine. Once you've done that, save it all and you're good to go. So let me just have a quick go through this. What we got is the geometry here, and this specifies the position on screen of the notification. And one thing that you can't do is actually specify 2 notification areas. So you can only specify the notifications, say, come up in the top right. You can't say most notifications will come up in the top right, but the volume notification comes up in the center of the screen. That's something that doesn't seem to be possible. So you can only define 1 notification area, and this is the section in the config where you do that. So we've got here the progress bar, enable it true. The progress bar is this little blue thing coming up under here. So with all that, we've got some nice padding, and you can set the text there. I'm using Inconsolata, system wide for my terminal, Emacs, all that kind of stuff. This is the format of the messages that you can use. So what we're doing here is we're specifying the summary and then the body. So the summary in bold and the new line in the body. We have the text aligned left. And what we got here is the icon position, the icon size, the icon path. This is just miscellaneous stuff, Wayland, Legacy. This is where you actually set the color scheme for your notifications, and you can specify a different color scheme per notification, as I'll show you. Got low, normal, and critical notifications. And this section here is how you can create rules for specific notifications. And what this is done, the way this works is you can actually match stuff by app name, body, category, icon, that sort of thing. And then you can override these sections like the background, the foreground, colors, that kind of stuff. So what we've got down here at the bottom is this section here. Volume app name equals xfce4-volumed daemon timeout 2. The way you find out what the app name is, I just skip back up here again. We need to go to message format section again. So scroll back up to the message format selection. So you see this section here where we've got the format. Basically, to find what the app name is, you just put a sent A here, and what that would do is that would actually show the app name in the notification, and you then use that to target that particular notification to style it. So I'll just remove that there. So I added the %A, and then what that did was that told me that the name of the app is actually xfce4-volumed daemon, whereas the command line application is xfce4-volumed. So you can also match stuff like by the body content, that sort of thing. But if you wanted to specify a different background color or that kind of thing, you could add it in here. So this allows you to target these volume notifications and apply custom settings like different colors or different timeout. So for example, I want a short timeout. When I press the keyboard here, I want it to disappear after 2 seconds. If you set it to 1 second, it's a bit too quick. So that's why I've got it set to 2 seconds. So once you've done all that, what you need to do is actually, I'll turn this bloody phone off. What you need to do is, I'll come through. What you need to do is probably reboot for this to sort of take effect. We're just finishing the tea off there. What I found was logged in and out, and I did my notification, and I didn't have the bar. I didn't have this nice little bar. So last night I was thinking, that's, it's great, but it'd be nice to have the little progress bar. And I rebooted today, and it came up. So you may need to actually reboot the system for it to pick all this up. Now, the final thing that you need to do after going through this process and copying the, creating the new SVG graphics and then copying them to the location, is you need to start xfce4-volumed and dunst in your window manager. So for instance, if I come across to xmonad, my config, what you'll see here is in my startup hook, I'm starting dunst and the xfce4-volumed daemon. So this is going to depend on your window manager, whatever. You can also start these things in something like xinitRC, which is basically dunst and xfce4-volumed and once you've done that, they'll start automatically. So the other thing I wanted to cover is that I'm actually using sxhkd, which is a keyboard hotkey daemon, and in that I have other things defined so that if I just come back across to where is Big Butt Bunny? Oh, Big Butt Bunny. There we go. Okay. So we've got Big Butt Bunny here. I click play, and if I press a hotkey on the keyboard, it's not actually going to do it here in Firefox. It's not displaying the icon, the image. Usually, it will actually display the image of the thing playing. So let me just see if I can get that to work. If it will. No, it's not going to do it. But usually, if you can set this up for MPV as well, and what it will do is it will display a nice image from the video. So I'll show you that in a second. But basically, what I've got is player CTL set up with Empress, so that I can press press this on the keyboard, and it will open and close the video. And the interesting thing is I'm using the snap version here, and that seems to actually broken some of this functionality, because it normally shows you the playhead position and stuff like that for the video. So what I'll do is actually just come across and let's open a video. I'll do a, what should I do? Okay, I'll open this one. Okay, so now if I press this keyboard shortcut, you'll see what we have here is this nice notification with the title, the thumbnail from YouTube, the playhead position, that sort of stuff. So this is why I also wanted to do some work on the volume side of things, because I've got nice notifications for videos playing. The other thing I wanted to show you is this notification also works full screen. It will actually appear above the video full screen. So you can see here, I can change the volume here, and it's displayed on screen above the video. The other issue I wanted to just mention is you can see as I click here, you can see there's a bit of a large gap above here. And the reason for that is, if I just quit the video, is because when I'm not full screen and I have a status bar up here, I don't want the notification to be above the actual status bar. So if I just switch back to the dunst config, dunst, and the geometry. So yeah, this is the offset. So 10 pixels from the right and 50 from the top. So that's why the notification appears there. Is because I've got it set to do that, so that it's not obscuring the status bar. That's just one thing I wanted to mention. And if I come across into my sxhkd configuration file, what I was previously doing was using sxhkd for my multimedia keys. I've commented this out now. So this was what I was using before to mute the volume, raise and lower the audio levels. And I've commented that out because I don't need it now. xfce4-volumed will take care of that. So if you're already using sxhkd for your multimedia keys, comment them out, otherwise they will conflict with the volume D daemon. So in this config file, what I've got is also an option here. You can see control space dunst CTL close all. So if I just bring that up, and then press Control Space, you can see it closes the notification instantly. So there is actually a section in the dunst configuration file where you can specify that, but it's experimental. So that's why I'm setting the key in here. And what I also have down here is I'm using Player CTL, which works with Empress, which is built into browsers, and you can also install an extension for MPV. And what this allows you to do is use the next, previous, and play, pause multimedia keys on your keyboard. So typically there'll be like F4, F5, F6. So you can actually navigate through playlists, that sort of thing. And I also have sort of other options for Player CTL down here. You can actually set it to go to the start of the video, stop the video, pause, that sort of thing. And also have a keyboard shortcut to show now playing video. So that's the gist of setting this all up. It's not too bad to actually go through the process, and it's a lot easier and a lot less hassle than having to write your own scripts, because you write your own scripts to do this. The issue is what you've got to do is you've got to get the running pulse audio sync, you've got to get the muted audio volume, the current volume level, increasing it and decreasing it to actually get the same effect. So you can do it manually, but why bother when you can just install something and it'll work out of the box, and then you can customize the actual notification. So again, we've got nice notification. As you can see, you watch the speaker icon, how the speaker icon increases by using the 3 different graphics: the low speaker icon, medium and high, and also the muted. And again, we've got the volume and we've got the percentage there, and we've also got the little progress bar. So everything I wanted. Really improves the experience of using a window manager versus a desktop on Linux, because that's pretty much the only thing that I was sort of missing, as opposed to sort of using a desktop, was the on-screen display. Because I've got, can't see it on this one, but I've got little applets in my status bar for like network manager, that sort of thing. My display, I have my desktop launcher. I don't really need anything else, but one thing that was sort of missing was, yes, I could use my multimedia keys, but I didn't have any feedback. So every time I changed the keyboard, every time I adjusted the volume, I'd like open up pulse volume control and come across the output devices and see what the percentage was. You can get little, applets for volume control, but the problem with those is you kind of got to go up and click them and, scroll up and down to change the volume level, see what it is, which is annoying if you're in full screen, because obviously you can't see the status bar. So although you can have applets that will show you the volume level in the status bar, it's useless if you're actually in a full screen application, hence the need for an on-screen display. Now, the reason why this is using dunst as opposed to something else is because things like Gnome or KDE, they have their own window managers. It would be like Mutter for Gnome or Kwin for KDE, and they will use things like CSS graphics to actually draw a on-screen display on the screen, and that won't work outside the desktop environment. So the only thing that we can actually use to accomplish the same sort of thing is dunst, and I would say that does a pretty good job. I mean, it does everything we need. We've got the graphics, we've got the text, we've got the progress bar, we don't have horrible white outline around the graphics, and again, we can fully customize the appearance of this simply by changing the dunst configuration file and setting colors for that particular notification, and also we can edit the SVG graphics to basically create our own nice color scheme. So as you can see here, that's just unobtrusive, quite subtle, got a nice rounded borders around here, nice combination of colors. So the only thing you actually need to do again is you come through these steps, and as I said, I've got all the icons here for you to download, so you don't have to go through the process if you don't want to. So basically, all these ones have got the white stroke removed, so you don't like the sort of grey colour I've used here, or you want a darker one, or you want bright hot neon pink or whatever, you can just download these, open them in Inkscape, and then just change the actual fill colour on and the strokes for the graphics, and then basically all you need to do is come across to your dunst config, and at the bottom you can then put in a new background and foreground for this, and stroke color, all that sort of thing, change the timeout, and you'll have a completely unique volume pop up. You can also change you can actually remove this text, so you can see here, so that volume is at 82% or whatever. You can change the format, so as you can see here, what we've got, I just come up and go to format. Come on, you bugger. If I spelled it properly. Okay, so you got the format here. What you can basically do is copy that, bring it down here, stick it under here, and comment it out like that. So what you can do is you can specify a unique format for the volume notification. So what I've done there is I've just set it to show the summary and not the body. And what that would do is that wouldn't display the text, that would just display the icon and the graphics. So if I was to kill that, I won't actually kill it and do that because I've got it working. One of those things where you get something working and you do something and you break it. But that would basically shouldn't show the volume is at 90%. It just should show the icon and the progress bar. So if you just want the icon and the progress bar without the text, that's possible. Just put in a format under the volume, the notification section in your dunst config. So that's the gist. That's how we can sort of emulate something like this. Doesn't look exactly like that, but with a bit of work you might be able to do that if you really wanted. The other thing that is interesting is on the Mac, the volume icon here doesn't actually change. It always looks like that, whereas on Linux we've actually got one that is movable like that. So that's how we can create the volume on OSD without going through all this faffle that they've got on the Arch wiki of scripting stuff, which is an actual pain. I said, quick recap of the steps. We installed xfce4-volumed, we installed dunst, we set up a dunst configuration. Remember, in the icon section here, the icon path, the one thing you need to do is change your username for mine. Scroll down here. We created the SVG status directory on the desktop, copied the icons across. We edited the icons with Inkscape. We then moved those icons into local share icons. We made sure to add the path to the icons. We started volumed and dunst. Just reboot because, as I said, I had it working all last night. And I thought, oh great, yeah, but it'd be nice to have the little progress bar. I rebooted this morning and never know what, it just showed up automatically. So um, I think it was because previously what I'd done is got it conflicting with sxhkd and hotkey daemon. So that's basically the steps to go through. Not too difficult. Anyone can do it. I've created the icons so you can just download them if you want. So you can basically just download the icons and butcher bits of my dunst configuration, and then you'll have a nice on-screen display for your audio working in your window manager. And again, I use xmonad, and I've started this up, and it's not running a Gnome session or anything like that. Not running Gnome fallback or flashback. It's just straight xmonad session. And just by installing the xfce4-volumed hotkey daemon for pulse audio, get it working with dunst, you'll have a nice on-screen display without having to sort of run a full desktop environment. So I hope that helps, and I'll put links to all this under the video.